Walker Yoga. This class is going to focus on relieving and restoring tired legs and feet. Begin in a comfortable seated position. Let the hands rest on the knees. Get long through the spine, extending all the way through the crown of the head. Let the eyes close and tune into your breath. Deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose. You'll continue this breath throughout the rest of practice. Start to blink the eyes open and draw the soles of the feet to touch, letting the knees splay out, coming into a sort of butterfly position or Baddha Konasana. We're going to grab the ankles and extend again through the spine, elongating through the collarbones. Deep inhale, extend, and on the exhale, slightly bend over the legs, looking down at the feet. We're going to take the hands and just start to massage the soles and the arches of the feet, noticing any areas that may feel tender or may need a little extra care. And on the next exhale, just start to fold forward over the legs for a deeper hip and leg stretch. You can use the elbows to help push your knees a little bit farther towards the ground, but just remembering not to overdo it. Just going to that limit, but not past that limit. On the next inhale, slowly rise back up, and you're going to grasp left ankle with left hand and start to thread each finger of the right hand in between the left toes. And then same thing on the other side, we're going to take the left hand, threading each finger between the right toes. And then just find comfort however you can in a seated position. So this may be comfortable and this may be uncomfortable, but it's really going to help stretch the feet, opening the toes. And feel free to fold over your legs again, remembering your breath. And on the next inhale, rise back up. And we're going to extend the legs out long in front of us. Get tall through the torso, extending up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, start to walk the fingertips towards the toes. For every inhale, lengthen the crown of the head a little bit farther towards the toes. And for every exhale, try to get the chest a little bit closer to the shins. Keep the knees slightly bent. So you may feel the stretch in the backs of the legs, but more than that, try to feel it in the back. So deep inhale, feel the back muscles extend. And then exhale, sinking a little bit deeper into the pose. Hold for one more deep breath. Then on the next inhale, slowly rise back up. We're going to make our way into a standing position, so however you want to get there, just find your way into a forward fold. Keep the knees slightly bent. Feel free to take any variation here, so if you want to grasp opposite elbows, if you want to sway back and forth, if you want to release the neck, maybe by nodding or shaking the head. You can even rock your weight into your heels and then to the balls of the feet just to feel the different stretch. We're going to settle into this pose for a few more deep breaths, remembering deep inhale through the nose, deep exhale through the nose. On the next inhale, we're going to take fingertips to the ground, but feel free to use blocks or a stack of books or any props that you may have in case your fingertips don't touch the ground. And step the left foot about a foot behind you. The entire sole of the foot is on the ground. The hips are square. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, we fold a little bit closer to the leg. Just letting gravity take over. Now if this hamstring stretch is too intense, feel free to step that back foot forward a little bit closer to your front leg. And of course, for more of a challenge, step the feet wider apart. From here, start to bend through the front knee drawing the sole of the back foot farther towards the ground. So this should provide a calf stretch. And then keeping a bend in the front leg, you're going to point the back toes to the back of the mat and then lightly press the tops of the right toes into the mat. So this is going to provide a stretch in the front of the foot and in the shin. Coming out of this pose, we're going to bring the ball of the right foot back in contact with the mat and carefully step the back foot back even more until you find yourself in a low lunge. The back knee lowers to the ground and you should have knee-ankle alignment in the front leg. If the fingertips don't reach the ground, there's always the option to bring the hands to rest on the front thigh. You can play around with tucking and untucking the back toes just to see what works best for you. You can also play around with walking the hands over to each side, just feeling an opening in different areas of the hips and the legs. But just be mindful to keep that front knee in line, not letting it splay back and forth. And then come back through center, tuck the back toes, inch that knee a little bit closer to the front of the mat, and then step the back foot forward, forward fold. You can grasp opposite elbows or just hang heavy like a rag doll, swaying back and forth, opening up. And on the next inhale, we'll take fingertips to the ground or to a prop or blocks and step the right foot back about a foot or two, coming into that pyramid pose. Both feet are firmly planted, toes are facing forward. Try not to lock the knees out, so keeping a micro bend. Remember the breath. Deep inhale through the nose and deep exhale through the nose. And then bend through the front knee, straightening the back heel down towards the ground. Trying to open up through the back calf. And then lifting the back foot briefly, we're going to point the toes towards the back of the mat and then set the top of the toes down on the mat. Lightly press the top of the foot into the mat, getting a front foot and shin stretch. And then turn that right foot back over, coming onto the sole of the foot again, and start to step your back foot back into a low lunge. Take the right knee down to the ground. Check your knee-ankle alignment in the left leg. Bring the hands to fingertips or on blocks or prop. Gaze forward. Elongate through the collarbones, drawing the shoulders back. And feel free again to play around with tucking and untucking the back toes. And then walk the hands over to the right side. Back through center and over to the left if that feels okay. And then bring the hands back through center again. Tuck the back toes, inch the knee forward, stepping your way into your forward fold. From here, bend the knees deeply, taking the hands to the ground, and find your way into a seated position on the knees. So we're going to tuck the toes and sit the hips back onto the heels. So we're really getting a stretch through the feet here. This may feel a bit intense, and that's okay, that's normal. Just stay as long as you can. And remember your breath, which will guide you through this pose. Take one slow and deep inhale through the nose, and slow and deep exhale through the nose. Release the hands to the ground, untuck the toes, and this time set the hips back onto the heels again. Knees are touching. This is hero pose. If the stretch is a bit too much for the knees or the ankles, you can place a blanket at the back crease of the knees to provide a little more support. Use the heel of the hand to massage your quads, using as much pressure as you may need. Slowly rise out of the pose and start to make your way to a wall. For extra support, grab a pillow or a blanket to place underneath the hips. So once you get to the wall, you're just going to scoot one of your hips as close to the wall as possible. And then start to lay the torso down, and you're just going to kind of swing or walk your legs up the wall. So you're basically in an L shape against the wall. We're going to spend some time here, so just find comfort in the pose. The hands can rest on the belly, feeling the rise and the fall of the breath. Or if you'd like more of a chest opener and a shoulder opener, feel free to bring your arms either back behind you, overhead, or bring them to a T. This legs up the wall pose, which is a very restorative posture, allowing the body to relax, relieving any tension in the legs and the feet. It's also going to gently stretch the hamstrings and the lower back. So deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose, connecting with the breath. This pose is also really wonderful to do in the bed. Just letting the legs rest on top of the headboard or on the wall, and letting the body rest comfortably on the mattress. We'll spend 5 more deep breaths here. Slowly emerging out of the pose, we're going to bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the wall. And lightly pressing the feet into the wall, we're going to inch the torso and the hips away from the wall, almost until the hips and the knee are in alignment, so almost like a 90-degree angle with the legs. And then extend both legs long again up the wall with the heels resting on the wall. And we're going to bend the left knee, bringing the left ankle above the right knee. So we're making our way into figure 4 pose. Flex both feet, draw the left knee away from the body, and start to bend the right knee, lightly dragging the right foot down the wall. So depending on how open you are, you may be able to draw that right foot down the wall a little bit closer to a 90-degree angle. And to help keep in alignment, take your left hand to your left thigh, gently pressing just to make sure that that left knee doesn't draw too close to the torso. Deep inhale, deep exhale, and then extend both legs out long again against the wall. And this time we'll cross right ankle above left knee, start to bend the left leg, drawing the left sole of the foot down the wall. Place the right hand on the right thigh, just to make sure that that knee is in alignment. Flex both feet. And you want to keep the entire torso grounded. So if you notice that parts of the backs of the hips are coming up off of the ground, then your foot is probably too far down the wall, so just go ahead and inch it up. Again, find your limit, but don't push yourself past that limit. Deep and slow inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose. Now go ahead and extend both legs out long again against the wall, bend the knees slightly, and then draw the right knee in towards the chest, hugging at the shin. Deep inhale, and on the exhale, extend it out long again. This time, hug the left knee in towards the chest. Deep inhale, and on the exhale, drop both knees down, roll over to one side, and start to rise up, bringing yourself away from the wall. Lie down on your back, bend your knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the ground, and just start to windshield wiper the legs back and forth. A lot of times when we have tired legs, it also extends to the hips and the back as well. So this is a great gentle way to open up and lightly stretch the lower back. Let's take one last deep inhale and one last deep exhale before we set up for Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, extend both legs out long. Let the arms rest by your sides, settling into our final resting pose. Let the breath go on autopilot and just be for the next few moments. We'll conclude this practice here in Shavasana, so feel free to spend as much time in this pose as you'd like. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste.